Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion, speculation, theory video. I am once again joined by Dimzy from Dimzy's domain. He's made the trek, the journey, all the way from that domain of his, all the way to come to speak with us about this particular topic. So before we get into this, Dimzy, what is up? Why don't you say hello to everyone listening right now?
Hello everyone, it's always nice to be on the channel. I think that this is the best place to be and it's worth it for me to wake up at such a ridiculous hour to have a little chit chat with Mark.
And he's actually not lying. It's way late for him right now. So with that being said, guys, we're going to be discussing, and for everyone who saw the title, you saw the thumbnail, I don't necessarily want to keep giving away spoilers to people who don't want to be spoiled. So yes, we're going to be talking about some of the TV guide leaks and everything that have been dropping over the last couple days, and we're going to basically take that stuff and speculate on what it could potentially mean for our fighters in Universe 7 in the Tournament of Power. So with that being said, we are at this current moment, I guess they spoiled it for us, or it was just something that wasn't necessarily worth the spoiler or anything like that, but we know that Krillin is going to be, and last time to click off, everyone. So, warning, fair warning. So, Krillin is going to be the first fighter from Universe 7 to get eliminated from the entire Tournament of Power when it comes to Universe 7. So, I have this idea, and before I get to discuss like what I think 18 or Gohan or Goku or Piccolo or anybody else is going to feel, or how this is going to affect the team, which is the general idea of this discussion, I just wanted to kind of reiterate a point. A couple of weeks ago, we got some very fake but very credible, I guess they were, spoilers that were fake, but they did kind of implicate the whole, if you fall off the ring, then you're basically vanished from existence, you're erased, and all this other stuff. It just feels like you're dead. And obviously that didn't end up being true. In episode 96 or 97 of Dragon Ball Super, we got to see a couple fighters actually fall off of the tournament ring, and then they're just kind of put in the stands with their universe to watch out the rest of the proceedings of the fight. And I personally think, while that is actually cool, because as the spoilers have indicated, it seems that once all 10 fighters are off the ring, the Zenos will basically destroy the entire universe. And that is the stakes here. That's what's going to amp all this stuff up. But at least in my opinion, if the fighters themselves, if they had switched it and the fighters themselves were eliminated and the universes were saved till after all this is going down, I think we would have cared more. And I can understand why it would be a little bit traumatic, and I want to get into this as the discussion goes on, but I think it would be a little traumatic for people fighting in this tournament from Universe 7 who know that their loved ones, their family, and their friends are all in that universe. I mean, they're not in the tournament. They're not in the world of the void at this point. So if one of the Zenos just does blow up all of Universe 7, then they will realize that that's going to happen, and they might fight harder because of it. But us as an audience, that's kind of something that's off in the ether. We know Bulma, Marin, Trunks, Goten, Yamcha, Pawar, Oolong, and all these other guys are in Universe 7, sure. But there's no implication, even though I'd really like it for them to be cutting back and showing them actually watching the proceedings of the fight. I mean, of course, we could potentially get that, but who really knows? So,
would you have preferred,
Dimzy, I know that was a little
would you have preferred the audience members to actually include people from certain loved ones from each universe?
No, I like the way they did it. I do like the way they've done it. I just want them to be able to cut back, or for whatever reason, Chi-Chi, Bulma, and all the other people learn about what's going on and end up actually watching it on GodTube or something, as I've mentioned on this channel before. The question I have to you, though, is, I guess, up front, what are your thoughts on the entire long-winded rant, a little aside from this general conversation? And also, just going off the idea that, yeah, Krillin is the first one to basically get eliminated. We're going to see Universe 9 get eliminated, their universe destroyed potentially. How is this going to affect people? How is Krillin getting out? How is seeing a universe explode? I feel like we have a lot of stake in the game at this point. So your thoughts and opinions on that?
I think that knowing the fact that when Universe 9 get eliminated, it's just going to be... I think they're the perfect universe to be eliminated, because even though we've been introduced to Universe 6 and such, we're too connected to them because they're the twin universe. Universe 9, we've been lightly kind of introduced through Gowasu and the potential for interactions, such as, for example, after they're eliminated, can you imagine Supreme Kai thinking to himself, oh no, Master Gowasu, what's going to happen, blah blah blah. So you could have reactions on different levels. For example, Supreme Kai and of course Goku and Vegeta. Now, regarding the whole fact that they should have saved, or maybe it would have been better for Zeno to erase the universe at the end, I prefer it as they erase them as they go along. But most importantly, Krillin being eliminated and what the implications are going to be. Now, there's been a lot of discussions, and I know you've discussed off air, on air as well, who is the most ideal, who's the best person to be eliminated first. Krillin is the best because he has connections with a big majority of the team itself. Can you imagine if Tien were to be eliminated? People are going to be like, oh, who cares? But it's like, oh, there's some free-eyed freak. Okay, but with Krillin, I can imagine all the reactions. Now, of course, we're gonna break them down one by one, but just a quick little snippet of the reactions. You can imagine Vegeta just scoffing at it, Gohan being a bit horrified because he needs to reevaluate his plan, but that's also his best friend. Piccolo being, oh crap, that's a very trusted comrade. Roshi, oh no, my student. Tien, oh no, my fellow Pia. Goku, horrified, my best friend. And then of course you got 17, who's like, oh crap, he's the brother-in-law I kind of like, but I'm not allowed to show my emotions. And of course you see 18, who's going to be horrified. But I do think it's interesting. I think that it's a very smart choice for Krillin to be the first one to be eliminated, and the reactions from the Universe 7 members is going to be something that is very interesting. Now, if I were to rewind just a little, when Universe 9 is going to be erased, they do say that everyone's going to be in shock, and for a time, people are going to be, oh no, what's going on, before they resume fighting. I want to see Krillin's reaction to when that universe is going to be eliminated. I want to see that, and it's going to hopefully make his imminent elimination all the more meaningful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and yeah, totally, especially when we're going to be able to see Krillin's power, potentially what he's been saving up and everything, potentially even having a last stand moment where even though he might get eliminated, he'll at least give Universe 7 some upper, like, kind of give them the higher ground for at least a moment. And we really don't know how that's going to play out. We don't know how he's going to end up sacrificing himself or even just getting eliminated, what he's going to do, what his power is, or all that. Just kind of going down the list, though. I agree with basically everything that you're saying, but, you know, I like to always kind of think of character moments, interactions, how it would, I guess, please the story for the most part. So I would really like to see one person you missed, that I'll just start with, Frieza's reaction. How would Frieza react? Because I imagine, and you were talking about people who are going to scoff this off and people who are going to be horrified and all this. Frieza's reaction is something I really want to see, because Frieza is so nonchalant, especially when it comes to Krillin. I mean, the way he treated him back on Namek, and even the way he treated him in the Fukatsu no F arc of Dragon Ball Super was pretty brutal. This whole poking fun at him and the PTSD that he suffered from the events on Namek and just facing Frieza in general. I mean, the guy killed him. And Frieza, with universes being blown up and all this other stuff, him back for only a day, and he wants to be revived, and everything going into that particular mentality of his, especially with, you know, potentially conniving with Frost or anything else that he's been doing. It's going to be interesting, really, just to see Frieza basically smirk it off. Like, you know, he was useless, you shouldn't have brought him anyway. Like, you could have brought my father, you could have done this, that, or that. Like, you know, you could have done all of this stuff besides have that weakling who never mounted to anything. And then I wonder how that would kind of push 18, because although this is just me speculating, like if Frieza does make a show about it, and let's just hope he does. I really want Frieza to make a show about Krillin losing first and how he's weakling and everything. It would be interesting to see how 18 reacts to that particular mentality and how she either steps up to fight or even potentially challenging and creating a little
civil war
back and forth within the Universe 7 ranks, and how 17's character dynamic would change because of that, especially when his brother-in-law gets eliminated versus what his sister might be feeling or even kind of being a part of with kind of infighting between Universe 7. And then you got to think about, like you were saying earlier, like Gohan's going to have to reevaluate his plan, because if no one respected him anyway, the only people who respected him are the people with him, and Krillin is one of those people. Goku, Vegeta, 17, 18, and Frieza all went their merry way. And this is going to end up, if it does create this infighting, at least in my opinion, going to end up being a good character moment for Gohan, I guess, reaffirming his leadership status, or at least officially affirming his leadership status, and yeah, like you said, reevaluating and coming up with a new plan for people to fight and bringing the team back together with the discourse that's going to be caused by all the mayhem going on in the next couple episodes.
I think that's probably one of the most important things you said about the whole character moments regarding, especially, as you said, I missed it completely, but Frieza and the potential chaos and anarchy he can just cause among the characters. I think that no other character apart from Krillin can actually cause such a reaction amongst these characters, and it's definitely going to be interesting. And I just think that him being eliminated, the effect on Universe 7 is going to be actually quite negative. I think other people are going to be at risk of being eliminated. I think that Roshi might suffer, and I think Gohan also might suffer before getting back into gear, and then he just, as you said, reaffirm his leadership status and just getting his shit back together.
Mm-hmm. And when you talk about that as well, like Gohan, he's going to need, and I can even link it in the description section below. Before these particular leaks, a couple weeks ago, really, I made a video saying that Piccolo should be one. You already mentioned it earlier in this video. I still think that he does need to be out pretty soon, just because Gohan, and I know, kind of try to keep PG here, but Gohan just needs to stumble so much during this tournament arc. I feel like there's been so many things leading up to the fact that he's going to be one of the last men standing, and maybe even the last man standing, and we're going to get something like a Cell game situation where Goku is going to fight Jiren way too early and get knocked out, and then Gohan's going to have to be the person to basically win it for the entire universe, along with, Vegeta or anyone else who's actually alive, or not alive, but still in the fight at that point. Gohan just needs to be tested over and over again. So if Krillin's going to get out first, and that's going to be something that tests Gohan, then potentially Piccolo can help him actually get back up on his feet, and then Piccolo gets out, and then Goku can help basically Gohan get back up on his feet, and then if Goku gets out, then Gohan has to stand up on his own, and we've seen this over and over again. You might think that that's repetitive, but remember just how many times Vegeta and Goku basically went back and forth between the main timeline and Future Trunks' timeline. I mean, that's the way they've decided to tell these stories. So I'm really okay with that when you look at it like this, and Krillin could be a really interesting starting point for the character development and infighting and everything else that we're going to potentially see. Potential spoilers, actual leak spoilers that we've been talking about this whole time. But potentially Krillin could start all of this and be the first thing that affirms Gohan's leadership.
And a quick question to you. How influential do you think that Krillin is going to be whilst in the stands? Because we know that he can.
That's a good question.
Because we know that he can give a really good pep talk. We know that he tells Goku, "Look, you need to be serious." So, and that's the thing. He can be the one to put Goku, Gohan, 18, and even 17. If they are stumbling, he can. Oi, you need to get your shit together. 18, do it. 17, you're my brother-in-law. You need to do this. Protect your sister. how influential do you think he's going to be, and how influential do you think that he can be?
Oh, you know what's interesting about that? In episode 97, I think was the last one that we saw, the woman, the first girl who gets out, one of the flying chick from Universe 10, she is told by the gods of destruction and everything, he's like, your job is to cheer. And, you know, the one thing I really like, and one thing I always kind of champion with not only Dragon Ball, but almost everything is, and Dragon Ball doesn't necessarily do this all the time, but this is something that they really should do, is that you don't show or point out or give time to anything that's not going to be relevant later. So you have a really good point there that it's already been kind of established that if you get out, your job is to cheer. Your job is to motivate. Your job is to do all this stuff. And you're right, like Krillin, you know, for all the jokes and everything that Krillin has gotten, the guy has kept up. I mean, Roshi said it in the Fakatsu no F arc of Dragon Ball Super. He said it almost verbatim. It's like, how are you afraid of these Frieza soldiers? Like, look at all the battles that you've been through. Like, you can fight these guys, no problem. Like, they're nothing to you. And that's Krillin's situation, too. Like, he's always the guy to step up. And he is one of the only people, really, that can put Goku back in his place. And potentially, if it's not Gohan who's going to be standing at the end of all this, then Krillin having the free opportunity to basically speak to Goku one-on-one without all the chaos or everything else going on, potentially he could even give Goku enough of a pep talk to basically clear your mind and actually fight for once. Like, stop getting overzealous about this fight or this fight. Stop leaving your team to go fight Toppo and then get distracted by Jiren, and then also have to like deal with people who are plotting against you or getting ganged up by like an entire team of people, and fight them yourself, because that's not helping anything. Like, you're being very selfish. And I think if anyone's going to tell Goku that and have him listen, then you're absolutely right. It's Krillin.
Exactly. And I do hope that it's actually, if there is potentially a new transformation on Goku's part, if it is triggered by something or someone, it would be nice actually for Krillin to be the one to make Goku transform, or make him undergo such a, you know, a different state or different change in mind. But yeah, that's Krillin for you. He's a very important, overlooked, bold, short character, so people should give him some credit.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. So it wasn't my first choice, you know, just based on these spoilers, these leaks that we've gotten. It wasn't my first choice, but at the same time, I'm actually really kind of okay with it. I think that Krillin losing the first point, although I think it was a little bit more predictable than a lot of people would beg to differ. Like, a lot of people would argue either way, I think. But Krillin losing first is one of the most predictable things you can imagine. But at the same time, characters being what they are, and Dragon Ball being almost entirely predicated on the characters and being true to the characters that they presented way back in the day, it makes sense. And I think it could really end up triggering something that's potentially really interesting for the entirety of Universe 7. Of course, we didn't talk about all of them. Dimzy kind of went through a brief overview, but
I'm sorry.
I honestly don't think. I feel like, you know, when it comes to Piccolo or Roshi or Tenshinhan or something like that, is like, those people aren't really worth discussing in one way. Because even though he has relationships to people like Vegeta and all them, the people we mentioned here are a little bit more unique in when it comes to Krillin's character and all this stuff. So as long as he affects them, in my opinion, you get a really good character moment for him and for everyone that he affects. Plus just little snippets of Roshi kind of being like, oh my god, and Shinhan being like, oh my god, and Piccolo, oh my god. So that's just really my opinion there.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree with that.
Anyway, guys, so we're gonna leave it at that. Like MJ always says, I want everyone to go down to the comment section below and share your thoughts and opinions with us, because honestly, this discussion isn't just between me and Dimzy. We also want to hear what you guys think about all of this that we've talked about. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please make sure to go check out Dimzy over at Dimzy's domain. Honestly, it's not as big of a trek as he has to make to basically talk with me and everything. It's just a click away in the description section, so make sure to go check him out. Do not forget to hit that bell over by the subscriber button, because that's going to notify you every single time I upload, and we're going to catch you on the next video.
A quick little question for all of you lot. Comment down below, how do you think Krillin is going to be eliminated? Thank you, goodbye.
Okay.